She started out as a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent and went on to become an Avenger. Let's get into the video and find out who is Mockingbird. Mockingbird's true name is Barbara Morse, but she mostly goes by the nickname of Bobby. When Bobby was in college finishing up her PhD, she was offered the opportunity to work with her mentor, Dr. Wilma Calvin. Bobby accepted the offer and began assisting Dr. Calvin and Dr. Ted Salas on a top-secret project for S.H.I.E.L.D. The project's lab was in Florida, and the goal was to recreate the super soldier serum. Her work ethic on the project led to Nick Fury offering her a job, and she was trained to be a spy. Later, when S.H.I.E.L.D. believed the project had been compromised, Nick Fury promoted Morse to a field agent, giving her the codename of Agent 19. She was then sent back to the project undercover to keep tabs on the suspected traitor Dr. Paul Allen. Then, Dr. Salas went missing and Dr. Calvin was shot, so Morse was sent to seek the assistance of Kazar to help them track down the missing doctor. She ventured to the Savage Lands and was able to convince Kazar to return to Florida with her and assist. They made it to the Florida lab and were attacked by AIM operatives. Kazar and a beast known as the Man-Thing were able to fight off the AIM attackers. They then rescued Dr. Calvin from the AIM base, who shared with them that the Man-Thing was actually Ted Salas transformed. Bobby continued to go on numerous other high-stake missions for S.H.I.E.L.D., but when she began getting assigned to numerous bodyguard missions, she found herself getting bored and missing the adventures. Then on one of her assignments, in which she was the bodyguard for a S.H.I.E.L.D. lawyer, a suitcase bomb detonated, killing the lawyer and almost killing her. F.A. Kirk, a member of the S.H.I.E.L.D. Oversight Committee and a congressman, secretly let Bobby know that S.H.I.E.L.D. had been compromised. Bobby decided to go undercover and investigate on her own. She was able to track the suitcase bomb back to Mexico City. To keep her identity secret, she took on the alias of the Huntress. She eventually uncovered the leader of the rogue operatives, Rico Santana. Then, during a confrontation with Santana, his wife, and a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent were killed. Bobby was present at the scene but had no parts in any of their deaths. Nick Fury, unaware of the circumstances, declared the Huntress a shoot-on-sight enemy of S.H.I.E.L.D. Bobby would abandon her Huntress alias and began going by the alias of Mockingbird, due to her habit of mocking her opponents as she took them down. So what are Mockingbird's abilities? Mockingbird has no superhuman abilities. She is extremely athletic, is trained in numerous martial arts as well as gymnastics. She's trained in the art of espionage, is an accomplished pilot, skilled in archery, and can speak Spanish fluently. She's also an extremely skilled biologist. Mockingbird uses two alloyed poles that are about 2 feet long but can extend to 4 feet long as weapons. She can use them as fighting clubs, or they can be combined to make a bow staff. S.H.I.E.L.D. would eventually catch up to Mockingbird and attack her in New York. Spider-Man would happen to witness the attack and come to her rescue, not knowing who she was but allowing her to escape. Then one of S.H.I.E.L.D.'s corrupt branch directors was able to actually convince Spider-Man that Mockingbird was an enemy of S.H.I.E.L.D. The corrupt branch director then attempted to kill Mockingbird and Spider-Man, but Nick Fury's intervention saved them. Morse was able to explain to Fury what had really happened, but was caught in crossfire and severely injured. After spending 6 months recovering from her wounds, she decided to leave S.H.I.E.L.D. and become a solo operative. She began by investigating rumors of a mind control device that was being developed by CTE. While doing so, she came into confrontation with CTE's chief of security, Clint Barton. Mockingbird was captured and held by the company. But after hearing what Mockingbird had to say, Barton got curious and decided to investigate for himself, leading to him ending up a prisoner alongside Mockingbird. The two would manage to escape and make it to Mockingbird's apartment, but they were recaptured shortly after. The duo was taken to Crossfire, who was actually the one running things behind the scenes. Crossfire used the mind control device to force Hawkeye and Mockingbird to fight. Hawkeye was able to use the sonic arrow to free them from the mind control device and defeat Crossfire. Just days after that, Mockingbird and Hawkeye got married. The two then moved into Avengers Mansion, and Mockingbird began assisting the Avengers. Then, after the events of Secret Wars, Hawkeye was nominated by Vision to lead a new team of Avengers based in California. Mockingbird and Hawkeye traveled to California and purchased an oceanside mansion to use as the headquarters for the West Coast Avengers. On one of the team's many adventures, they were transported to New Mexico in the year 1876. There, they met the Rawhide Kid, Phantom Rider, and Two Gun Kid, which they teamed with to defeat a group of villains. The team of Avengers then devised a plan to get back to their timeline, but as they were departing, the Phantom Rider snatched Mockingbird and took off with her. The rest of the team was unable to abort, leaving Mockingbird stuck in 1876. The Phantom Rider had become obsessed with Mockingbird and drugged her with a potion that made her love him. Mockingbird, under the influence of the potion, became the Phantom Rider's lover and crime-fighting companion. Eventually, the Rawhide Kid and Two Gun Kid were able to track down Mockingbird and free her from the effects of the potion. A furious Mockingbird went after the Phantom Rider, and during their confrontation, Mockingbird let the Phantom Rider fall to his death. Shortly after that, Hawkeye made it back to 1876 and brought Mockingbird back to their timeline. The Phantom Rider's spirit, wanting to make Mockingbird pay, was able to possess the current Phantom Rider and began tormenting Mockingbird. Eventually, Mockingbird came clean and confessed to the team that she had let the Phantom Rider fall to his death. This led to a major argument between Mockingbird and Hawkeye, and the two split up. During their split, Mockingbird was recruited by S.H.I.E.L.D. to find a contingency plan to stop Vision if he were to ever become a threat again. Mockingbird came up with a viable plan, but then realized that what was going on wasn't a legitimate S.H.I.E.L.D. operation. She tried to warn the Avengers, but before she was able to, she was captured and imprisoned. She escaped a few weeks later, but it was already too late. Vision had already been dismantled. So Mockingbird went to the Avengers and helped them to retrieve Vision's body. Later, when Hawkeye was attacked by Crossfire yet again, Hawkeye almost made the decision to let Crossfire fall to his death. That experience helped Hawkeye to understand his wife's decision, and the two reconciled. Their relationship would continue to be on again, off again, and the two would eventually begin the process of getting divorced. But then Mockingbird was kidnapped by Ultron. The Avengers saved Mockingbird, and she and Hawkeye once again reconciled. When the Skrull secret invasion began, Mockingbird was one of the first heroes that was abducted and replaced by a Skrull. When the Skrulls were finally defeated, Mockingbird was found along with the other abducted survivors. She then joined her husband as a member of the New Avengers. Mockingbird has since gone on numerous other adventures and continues to adventure in the Marvel Universe. That's the origin and a bit of backstory on the Marvel character Mockingbird. Well, that'll do it for today's video. As always, I appreciate you taking the time out of your busy day to stop by the channel and check out this video. Please like, share, and subscribe. We'll see you again real soon. But until then, I'm out. Peace.